Hello, BookTube. Well, it's that melancholy moment. It's the last mail haul of the week. We've had a pretty good week for mail, and I think these are the last packages to go until Monday. I must somehow get through all of Sunday without a pile of free books in the mail. But I suppose we should open these while we've got them here. So let's see what this person is. We'll see if there's anything squeal-worthy. We have a couple of boxes. This thing ends in a big cardboard container and a couple of boxes. So, okay, the first one does not want to open, and I do not have scissors yet in this location. So we might have to pass. Just throw this to the floor. No, all right. It opened with a huge amount of effort. Let's see. What is this? An October book? This is by Simon Barnes, and it is called Rewild Yourself, Making Nature More Visible in Our Lives. Rewild Yourself, and each chapter starts with an original illustration. Okay, what does this mean, rewild yourself? We're not just losing the wild world, we're forgetting it. We're no longer noticing it. We've lost the habit of looking and seeing and listening and hearing. But we can make things visible, as this book features numerous spellbinding ways to bring the magic of nature closer to home. Mammals you never knew existed will enter your world. Birds hidden in treetops will shed their cloak of anonymity. With a single movement of your hand, you can make reptiles appear before you. Butterflies you never noticed will bring joy to your every sunny day. Creatures of the darkness will enter your consciousness. Okay, all right. This is sounding a little weird, but I will. It's October, so it's a long way off. But I will see what the author has to say when I get a little closer to it. I don't want reptiles getting any closer to me with a gesture of my hand. Thank you very much. Although I have plenty of access to wildlife here, plenty, not just the wild animal that I live with, but also when we're out on our dog walks out in the woods, we see all sorts of things, hear all sorts of things, and also my garbage out behind the house is a favorite nighttime destination for raccoons. They come every night. I have a trash barrel that has one of those fitted lids, so that if you put it straight on and sort of pat it down, it goes into grooves, specifically designed so that wildlife cannot come along and simply knock it off and dig in your trash, and the raccoons contemptuously open it up. It's easy for them to do. They have hands, just like humans. There are plenty of other animals that move around up there too. There's a sort of a wooded hill right behind me, and there are plenty of other animals that use that all night long. I've seen raccoons. I've seen big voles, and probably plenty of other things too. And I know there's an owl up there as well. I remember one night, I'm so glad that I didn't have a guest over, or I would have done this tipsy, and I would have scarred me for life. Instead, I was stone cold sober. I was taking, I think I had Malin, my old pointer. I think she was no. I had Frida alone. And one night we went out the back door for the last dog walk of the night, the short dog walk of the night, and I looked up the hill, and silhouetted in the backyard light of the house up further on the hill, there was a silhouette looking directly at me, a silhouette in the middle distance on the hill, and the light showed me the outline of the body and the sort of penumbra of fur. Just arms, a torso, and a head looking directly at us as we came out the back door. So, totally freaky. It was a raccoon, just sitting there, staring. Obviously a raccoon on its way to my garbage that suddenly saw the door open. But to see it in a silhouette like that, anyway. All right, we rewild your life. This is sort of a call to action. I think the Bean and I will probably go on a very long walk today. It's warm but very dry, and there's not a cloud in the sky. It's just beautiful. So we'll probably go on a very long walk in the woods and see lots of wildlife. I have to be really careful because the particular place where we're going has many mated pairs of red-tailed hawks and Cooper's hawks, and they're big enough to take Frida. They're big enough to swoop in and take her. This is the first time I've ever had to worry about that with a dog, since my pointer was designed to kill birds, and you would have needed industrial equipment to get my basset hound off the ground. But Frida's just 10 pounds. She looks like, from the air, I'm sure she looks like a woodchuck. I have to hope that they're not going to be audacious enough to do anything to her with me right there. But still, I pay attention now. Okay, all right. This is, I think, a double. I believe this next one is a double. This is Guillaume Serena, the translation from the French of An Impossible Dream about Reagan and Gorbachev. And this comes out in early July, and it has a preface by Gorbachev, and it's just not just it's the author's study of the subtitle Reagan, Gorbachev, and the World Without the Bomb. And I think we saw it already. I think we saw it a day ago. So that might be a double, but that's okay. Let's see what this next one is. Also fighting. The next one is also fighting. Well, okay, so what are we going to talk about, huh? How about them Red Sox? Let's see. Let's see what this next one is. Okay. All right. Okay, I didn't know this was coming. This is from Pegasus Books. Comes out in October. It's by Kelsey Wilson Lee, and it is Daughters of Chivalry. The subtitle is The Forgotten Princesses of King Edward Longshanks. This is Edward I. Virginal, chaste, humble, patiently waiting for rescue by brave knights and handsome princes. This idealized and largely mythical notion of the medieval noblewoman still lingers. Yet the reality was very different, as Kelsey Wilson Lee shows in Daughters of Chivalry, the vibrant account of the 5 daughters of the great English King Edward I. The lives of these sisters, Eleanora, Joanna, Margaret, Mary, and Elizabeth, ran the full gamut of experiences open to royal women in the Middle Ages. Living as they did in a courtly culture founded on romantic longing and brilliant pageantry, they knew that a princess was to be chaste, yet a mother to many children, preferably sons, meek, yet able to influence a recalcitrant husband or command a host of men-at-arms. Edward's daughters were, of course, expected to cement alliances and secure lands and territory by making great dynastic marriages or endowing religious houses with royal favor. But they also skillfully managed enormous households, navigated choppy diplomatic waters, and promoted their family's cause throughout Europe. Okay, so this author is going to excavate the lives of Edward I's daughters. Okay, fantastic. Wow, what a great idea. I don't think I've ever read a book like that before. So that comes out in October. So again, we have a long way to wait for that one. But that is fascinating. I wonder how much there is to know about some of these. I guess maybe there's a lot in the records that no one's bothered to consult and pull together. Okay, what is this next one? This is a September book. Okay, so this is by Brian Allen Carr, and it is called Opioid Indiana. And that is an actual trailer on the cover. So it stands to reason this is probably Hicklit. Set in the desolate heart of America's opioid crisis, Brian Allen Carr's timely and often tender novel about an Indiana teen struggling to find his place in the world and $800 in rent only 5 days. He owes $800 in rent in 5 days. Is a harrowing insight into modern America and a moving read you won't soon forget. Timely and tender. It's not a word pair we get to see much these days. Timely has become a sort of shorthand applied to artistic works exploring the legion of horrifying environmental and societal problems we presently face. In the case of Brian Allen Carr's Opioid Indiana, the timely deals with some of our most staggering domestic blights: opioid addiction, economic inequalities, school shootings, and racism. In Carr's novel, which evokes Eudora Welty's A Worn Path as much as it does Dennis Johnson's Jesus' Son, good Lord, tension much? We enter the world of 17-year-old Texan named Wriggle, who's now living with his uncle in Indiana after the death of his parents. Wriggle has a language and culture seemingly all his own, drawing on the fabulous bedtime stories his mother used to tell him. as well as a healthy dose of picked-up slang and regional particularities, Riggle's personal patois is as infectious to the other characters populating the novel as it will be for the readers. Okay. Okay. So, what is this then? So this is a novel about the opioid crisis. Who is Brian Allen Carr when he's at home? He lives in Indiana. He's the author of the novel Sip, along with several novellas and story collections. He is the winner of the Wonderland Book Award and a Texas Observer Story Prize. Okay, and his work has appeared in a lot of places. Okay, so this is during a week-long suspension from school, a teenage transplant to impoverished rural Indiana searches for a job, the whereabouts of his vanished drug-addicted guardian, and meaning in the America of the Trump years. Okay. All right. So is this going to be? This is going to be a paperback. This is going to be a paperback in late September. Interesting. Okay. Well, much will depend, as usual, on the author's voice. Okay. So what are we going to do here? Let's do. We've got one more envelope to do, and then we have a vacuum pressed folder and a couple of boxes. So. Oh, this is multiple books. this is multiple books. Look what we got. We got. Somebody sent me Regency romances. One of you sent me Regency romances. What have we got here? Oh, they're in absolutely mint condition. It's like it was made yesterday. Okay, so those of you who are new to the channel, there are about 100 of you who are new to the channel. I have a Candy Crush addiction, a sweet spot for Regency romances, and not just Regency romances, but old-style signet Regency romances that were of a uniform length and of a very strict uniform template, where there's a great deal of passion, there's a great deal of romantic misunderstandings, but there's nothing explicit. Their template is Pride and Prejudice, where they end with either the assurance of a marriage or a marriage itself, and their engines are societal misunderstandings, personal misunderstandings, and witty dialogue, rather than clothing coming flying off in the first chapter. And I really love them. They really are great palate cleansers for me. And here I have 5 of them, 5 new ones, and they're in perfect condition. The covers still have shines on them, even though these things have to be 30 years old. The first one is Saving Lord Verwood by Elena Green. Look at that. This is brand new. Then The Marriage Masquerade by Teresa Desjardins. I have a few of hers. I don't think I have this one. Then A Magnificent Match by Gail Buck. I have read a few of Gail Buck's, and they are great. And another thing I love about these old Regencies is the commissioned artwork for the cover. Regency romances, in fact, historical romances just in general now, have photorealistic covers. They have it's. I don't quite know what the name for it is, but it's clearly the photo of 2 models in costume on a stage, and then art programs or software is used to sort of fill in the blanks, to sort of fill in the background and the stately home or the horse or the plinth in the background. Whereas these old signet Regency romances have actual illustrations. They have actual cover illustrations by artists. You see. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. You see the difference between this and this, where the new trend is already happening. Those are models. Those are intensely identifiable people. There's no artistic license taken here at all. The artistic license is the shrubbery, the stonework, and the house in the background. But the people, no. Whereas these 2 were drawn from scratch by the artist. And then what else do we have here? A Change of Heart by Candace Hearn. And Lord Rathbone's Flirt by Gail Buck. Again, so we have 2 by Gail Buck here. A Magnificent Match and Lord Rathbone's Flirt are by Gail Buck. And we've got all the different seasons. This takes place in summer, obviously. We've got a couple that take place in winter. Wonderful. Oh, this is so great. Oh, thank you so much. There's no way that the envelope or the boxes are going to compete with these, but we'll struggle on to the end here just in case. So now we'll do the cardboard envelope. I will throw it down to my ravenous dog. Oh, okay, all right. This is another World War II topic history. Not a big narrative thing, but rather a specific focus. Although this is a broader focus than a lot of the ones that we've seen. And I've been waiting to get this in finished copy. I have the advanced copy up on the shelf because this is due any day. I have only read it once. I want to reread the finished copy. This is by Adrian Gilbert, and it is the Waffen-SS, Hitler's Army at War. A study of the Waffen-SS. Let's see here. This is the first definitive single-volume military history in over 50 years of a military force whose soldiers fought with ferocious determination, tough-minded fervor, and passionate esprit de corps. During its short history, the elite military divisions of the Waffen-SS acquired a reputation for excellence, but their battlefield record of success was matched by their atrocities and systematic massacres against both soldiers and civilians, and that is absolutely documented. That is not the victors writing the histories. Yes, tenacity, ferocity, esprit de corps, yes, but they were also savage, absolutely savage. Award-winning and best-selling historian Adrian Gilbert considers the distinct ideological nature of the Waffen-SS and its transformation as a military organization. And when I read this originally, I went through it. I really liked it. So I'll read this finished copy. This finished copy will have the maps and pictures and all. I will read this with a lot more attention and see. Oh, okay, all right. All right. Well, the copy I have has a printing mistake. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know if any other copies will be like this. You've got picture inserts like this. You're going through the picture insert in the book, and the last one, the color plate or the differentiation, it was not done correctly. And some of you will know that picture on the bottom. That is the Malmedy massacre. The Waffen-SS's signature move is the Malmedy massacre. A thing that... Now, baby, what are you doing? You don't have anything to sit on there. You come up... You're flopping all over the place. Well, the couch is temporarily covered with books. It's all right. It just means you can't jump around. I'll move them in just a second. I know these came from somebody else. These came from not from a publisher, but from a person. Oh, they got the lick of approval. Oh no, baby, don't chew on them. These are in perfect condition. Here, what about this? Huh? So anyway, as I was saying before, the Frida interruption. This could be major. I liked it very much my first read-through. I want to give it another read-through. I've been waiting for the finished copy. And now we'll do the boxes. To the limited extent that I can pay attention to anything with these Regencies right here. What have we got in box number 1? You are a spoiled little dog. Oh, okay. All right, this was probably a June release. Yes, this is a late June release. This is from W. Michael and Kathleen O'Neill Gear, and it's part of their Cahokia series. This is Star Path, the 4th novel in their series of the People of Cahokia, which was a gigantic New World settlement that we're learning about even as we speak. That brings America's history to life in this evocative tale about the greatest pre-Columbian city. Cahokia recovers from a year of chaos, and the god incarnate, Morning Star, has sent his sister, Night Shadow Star, and her slave, Firecat, on a dangerous journey to far-off Kofitakiti? For an old threat has arisen, and the other side of the great eastern mountains, their brother, Walking Smoke, is a madman who is convinced that he is the true deity destined to rule Cahokia. The Underworld Lord Piazza rules Night Shadow Star's destiny and dangles a chance of happiness in front of the travelers. If they succeed with his agenda, people think that gets a good response. That person is following the car that has annoyed him, leaning on the horn the whole time. That is now happening for a mile now, where he's going to follow that person until they drive to their destination, until they pull into their driveway in their home, leaning on his horn the whole way. His own plans are forgotten. He's now going to do that until he gets to that person's home, and then probably get out of his car and get arrested. On a Saturday, on a beautiful Saturday. And that's what you're going to do. You had plans. You were going somewhere. And you have so little control over your emotions that you are so much of a 5-year-old that those plans are now gone. And also your future is now gone. You're going to lack your personal liberty this afternoon. And you might get it back in a few days, but at the cost of thousands of dollars and a court date. For no reason whatsoever. None whatsoever. Because you saw that happen in a movie somewhere. Anyway, well, all right. I permanently derailed from this book. I have not kept up with the Cahokia series, so I don't know that I've read the last one. I'll have to check and see. Then that's one of the problems of having the window open is that I get to hear psychotic crap like that. People ask me why I don't drive a car. Just all right. I'm going to lean on my horn, tailgating you from now until you pull to a stop. If you're smart, you'll pull to a stop at a random place on the road rather than lead me straight to your home where you and your family and your pets might be in danger because I'm a psychopath. I'm a complete psychopath. I'm someone who can divert the course of my entire life over a momentary infraction on a road somewhere. So now you have made me so over the top, moltenly angry that you have now become the whole focus of my existence, and I'm going to follow you, leaning on my horn the whole time to make sure you know that not only did you annoy me for a fraction of a second, but that your annoyance is life-changing. Anyway, this last box is taped so tight that it's not coming open. So once again, just as we began, we end with a package that I might not be able to open because I'm not going to get up to get scissors. Clearly, this is a demonstration that I need scissors right here if this is going to happen twice in one mail haul. Yeah, I have to tear this thing apart because of how it was put together. All right. Let's see. 5 sheets of cardboard. What was worth all of that? Standard rule of thumb in my opening of mail is that the harder you have to work to open a package, the less the book inside is worth it. But let's see if this is... Oh, okay. All right. Okay, this is also from Tor. Same thing as the Cahokia book. And this is out already. This is a finished copy out already. I didn't ever get the advanced copy. This is Spine of the Dragon by Kevin Anderson, a prolific and fan favorite Kevin Anderson. 2 continents at war, the 3 kingdoms and Ishara, are divided by past bloodshed. When an outside threat arises, the reawakening of a powerful ancient race that wants to remake the world, the 2 warring nations must somehow set aside generational hatreds and form an alliance to fight their true enemy. Okay. And with lots of blurbs, but I don't know how many of these are, of the blurbs are particularly aimed at this book. So, okay, so is this Spine of the Dragon, is this a standalone? Kevin J. Anderson's triumphant return to epic fantasy is a politically charged adventure of sword, sorcery, vengeance, and the rise of sleeping dangers. So, all right, so this looks like this is a standalone book. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right, and this is the author's cover photo. I don't know who that head is right there poking into the picture. And it looks like he's in an airport somewhere, and he's not looking at you, so I can think of several ways that this author photo could be improved. But this book is out already. I got the finished copy a little late here, so I love it. I love getting science fiction and fantasy because it doesn't often happen, but I'm clearly going to need to read this right away. So I'm well behind. This must have had an advance copy. It never came to me. Okay, well, that is it then. We've got a bit of a mess here. But that is it. Let's see what we can do here. So we've got Spine of the Dragon, old-style epic fantasy, Star Path, in which the author's signature prehistory historical novels seems to be meshed with fantasy elements. Then the Waffen-SS, a history of the most brutal Nazi military subdivision. Daughters of Chivalry, a biographical account of the daughters of Edward the First. Opioid Indiana, a novel set in the present day with all of its ills, school shootings, opioid, all that sort of stuff. An Impossible Dream, a duplicate copy of Reagan and Gorbachev fighting the bomb. Rewild Yourself, I guess being more aware of wild nature all around you, although it also sounds like you're going to be given ways to summon that nature. And here, these shouldn't be on the pile. These deserve their own their own special feature. And 5 Regency romances that are absolutely brand new. There's not a single scuff or spine crease on any of these. They still have their cover shine. They're as new as the day they were printed. Even though, let's pick one at random. Let's pick Candace Hearn's A Change of Heart. This has to be 30 years old. Okay, no, this is 1995. 1995, 2005, 2015, 2019. It's going on 30 years. Wow. Okay. Well, fantastic. I'm happy to get these other books. I love getting fantasy, and I really want to reread the Waffen-SS. But I just finished the Regency romance that's in my shoulder bag that I'm reading whenever I'm out and about. I just finished it. So now I have to pick another one. I was going to pick one from my shelf, but I'll just pick one from one of these instead. One of these 5. Wonderful. Fantastic. And also, some of you may remember that when I was in Vermont a couple of trips ago, I got something like 40 Regency romances. There was a huge library sale, and they had a tray after tray after tray of them just under a table. So I got a ton of them, and I got a ton when Sarah visited from Canada. And as a result, the space that I have on the romance bookshelf in the other room, there's a space that I have there for Regency romances, and it is almost full. And when it is full, I am going to have to start taking space from the newer romances that have 2 shelves on that bookcase themselves. Wouldn't it be something if somewhere down the line that whole bookcase was Signet Regency romances? Wouldn't that be something? Oh my, that's too much to hope for. But anyway, thank you again for sending these. You know who you are. And I'm gonna clean up, and then I think we're gonna go out and about and rewild our lives. But I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.